The iPhone 8 Plus running iOS 16.1. Someone left a comment on a video the other day, said it was doing really well. It's my work phone. I use it every day. I had not upgraded to 16 on it, so I decided to go ahead and put 16.1 on here and see what was going on. And to my surprise, it's actually running a lot better than it is on the newer hardware. I had a better experience so far with iOS 16 and specifically 16.1 on my 8 Plus than I had been getting on my 14 Pro. A lot of the stuff has been cleaned up on 16.1, specifically the battery life issues on the iPhone 14 Pro. But everything seems slightly better integrated here on the 8 Plus, and it retains that fantastic form factor. And when you put all that together, when you put the build quality here, the performance, the battery life that we'll talk about, and now the new enhancements for 16.1, and you think about the price, link will be in the description, $240, and that gets you the 256 version of the iPhone 8 Plus. You got kind of a winning package here. It's not fancy. It's not an OLED display. It's not a bezel-less design. It's none of those things. But it is a device that brings its hard hat to work every day and gets the job done. I use this phone every single day for texts and calls and work stuff, and it never lets me down. So let's talk about the newer stuff with iOS 16 that you get here with the iPhone 8 Plus that works just fine. Lock screen integrations, lock screen notification stuff is good. I like that, but you also get the fancy customizations for the lock screens now. So let's go ahead, and it works great with Touch ID, by the way. This works better. The lock screen stuff and the customizations works better and smoother and is better integrated with Touch ID than it is with Face Unlock, which I found that to be quite surprising. So let's go ahead. Do I need to unlock it still? Yes, I do. Okay, so unlocked, press it, and then we're right into the menu. And you can see I have the default one here, but I also set up the space one. If you want the astronomy one, that you can go ahead, put it right in, then you click into the device, and there it is. Your backgrounds change, your wallpapers change, your widgets on your lock screen have changed, and if you have different ones for work, different ones for just casual when you're home, whatever it happens to be, you could set them up. They work, and they work well here on iOS 16. Also, all those widget things that you like with iOS 16.1 now, your smart stacks, everything else, you're going to go back up to the top. Works just the same as it does on the other devices. There it is. You can set up your smart stack, your maps, your music, your podcasts, and your notes widgets, anything that you have going through here. The battery widget, if you want, you could do, and you could do it just fine, and it works fantastic. It's great. Go ahead, exit out of that, and you can see how smooth the experience is. The one thing that I worry about when you're putting these newer OS devices, and it's something that Apple's done well, right, especially after they got caught doing the throttling and whatever else they said. They were trying to preserve the battery life or preserve the phone performance to battery life ratio. But since they got caught with that and they've cleaned it up, they do an excellent job of optimizing the older devices and keeping the battery life the same. And this is, now listen, you're not getting, like I said, not getting the fanciest design. This is an LCD panel, even though we know with Apple, not all LCD panels are made equal. There are a lot of cheap Android devices that would love an LCD panel like this. It gets bright, it's colorful, it's reliable, it's nice. I love the form. It's still a fantastic viewing experience for Instagram and Twitter without any of the curved display. Because of the large bezels, you get kind of the squared off design. And that works well for consuming content, so that's great. But one of the advantages of all of that, you still got a pretty powerful chip in here. You know, all the A-series devices from the past however many years, A-series chips rather, from the past 5 years are more than capable of doing any number of things. And this is going on 5 years old, still supported, and can still do everything you'd want to do on iOS and do it well. But with that said, battery life, this is a great battery life device. I can't even quantify, I can't even put a number on the screen on time, because this is a device that I could charge up, use almost several days. We're talking 3 days, and that's not putting it on the charger at night. So letting it drain overnight, letting it text all day, vibrations on. I get 100 texts a day on this thing, phone calls, fielding them, speakerphone, everything that you could imagine on this device, and I get 3 days of battery life. And it just doesn't drain. It doesn't sip anything. It's something that I'll charge it up on Friday and use it. And I don't use it on Saturday or Sunday. I'm not doing anything. Come back on Monday, and we're talking, it's still in the 80%. When it's not being used, and this is something we talked about on the iPhone 14 now, when it's not being used, iOS, specifically, iOS 16, 15, and the chips, the power efficiency they have in them, it just doesn't sit battery when it's not in use. When it's used, it starts to drain. When it's not used, it doesn't. And the iPhone 8 Plus is still a phenomenal example of that. And that's the battery life I get when we're talking about the health the battery is now. Like I said, we're talking, a 5-year-old device. Let's go into battery here. I had it pulled up. Try not to pull up too far because then you see name and information and stuff. But you're going to go in. Battery health and charging. Let's take a look. 93%, which is pretty good. Because you think about the cycles and stuff like that. It's good not to charge it every night if you don't have to. And a device like this, if you use it sparingly, you don't have to do that. But 93% battery health, still getting fantastic battery life out of it. And it's smoother. It's smoother running iOS 16.1 than my iPhone 14 Pro. Still is. Despite the fixes. Still is. And you get all the fancy stuff that you got with the iPhone Pluses back in the day. You could basically put it in iPad OS mode, and you have that. It still works well. They've made slight cosmetic changes to that, but everything works with that. I love the fact that you could put it in this iPad mode where you have your dock here on the right-hand side, and you could use stuff this way. It's great for content. It's great if you're doing stuff at work and you have it on a cradle. I have it on one of these little stands, these aluminum stands that you could get, and that's the orientation that I use it in a lot when I'm looking at text and information, which is great. Just an overall fantastic experience for the money in a timeless design. All these designs, these bezel-less phones are going to come and go. But when you talk about this iconic iPhone design, you can hand me this 10 years from now. Not only I'll know what it is, I know it's an iPhone, but it won't seem aged. It seems aged to us because we got so used to it and we've seen it a million times already. We've seen how many iterations we've seen it in everybody's hands for the past 10 plus years. But when you think about it, if you're being fair about it, and you kind of remove that from your brain, the design itself is timeless. And that's something that old Apple really honed in on. And I think new Apple really needs to go back to, because I think a lot of these designs now are going to kind of getting lost in the mix. Whereas this design certainly didn't. And never underestimate the ease of use when you're talking about Touch ID. It's great. You're in a car. You just want to do a text fast. You're not lined up, or you're in the dark. You want app verifications when you try to download something with your bank, whatever it happens to be. Touch ID, I wish they would bring back because it's superior. It's great. And it helps with the lock screen optimization. You don't have to worry about face unlock or anything. You just kind of go ahead, hold it there, and then go ahead, put it in, switch your customizations. You see how smooth that was. A lot of times that gets a little choppy on some of the other devices, but still perfectly smooth here. Camera, not the best in the world, certainly not the worst, still going to get the job done. You still get the 2 lenses here on the Plus versions of the phones back in the day, so the iPhone 8 Plus, you get that. Solid device. You could do a heck of a lot worse, especially when you're talking about cheaper budget Android devices, $240. Do keep in mind that while this normally probably would have had 2 years of support left in it, Apple was mighty aggressive in canceling the iPhone 7 this year and removing it from support for iOS 16. So you might be only getting a year. We might be talking about this device not getting iOS 17 next year. So that's something to keep in mind. But other than that, yeah, you have iPhone devices running whatever. As long as your app supports whatever version of iOS that it's on, these devices, despite not getting security up there, or rather iOS updates, will be secure and will be perfectly usable well into the future, even if it doesn't get iOS 17. If it's stuck on 16, you could do a heck of a lot worse, and it's still a phenomenal device that runs well. And go ahead, pick one up. $240. I have no doubts about this design and performance with the Apple iPhone 8 Plus. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve-licious day.